Essential students. We are on week 21. I hope you guys had a wonderful spring break. Obviously, we have to do our lessons online right now until we're able to go back to school. So I wanted to record you guys a video of what we'll be covering this week. And then you can let me know if you have any questions. So just to start, today you're going to need to get out charts H and charts Q. So that's charts H, conjunctions, and chart Q, verbals. So if you want to pause the video right now real quick and then go grab those and come right back, then you can. Okay, this week we're going to talk about a new sentence structure. We've talked about compound sentences and we've talked about complex sentences. We've obviously talked about simple sentences. Today we're going to talk about compound complex sentences, okay? So first, let's remember what a compound sentence is. So, can you remember the definition of a compound sentence? Okay, a compound sentence consists of at least two independent clauses and they're connected using a coordinating conjunction. What's a coordinating conjunction? If you said a fanboy, then you're correct. A fanboy is what connects a compound sentence. Now let's talk about a complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and one subordinate clause, and it's joined together by a subordinating conjunction or a relative pronoun. What are those examples? If you said a www.asia.web, you would be correct. Or if you said a who-which clause, you would be correct. Good job. So now let's talk about an example of each. So compound sentence has a fanboy. I might say, my mom is happy and she is kind. Notice in both of those independent clauses, we had a subject and a verb. My mom is happy, my mom is, and in the second independent clause, she is kind. Two subjects and verbs, and joined together with a conjunction, therefore we have a compound sentence. Now let's give an example of a complex sentence. My dad gave me a hug, which made me happy. So notice we have which is a relative pronoun in there. Now let's combine two. A compound and a complex sentence is going to be combining both a compound structure and a complex structure. So it's going to consist of at least two independent clauses, like a compound sentence, and at least one subordinate clause. Okay? Let's give some examples. Okay? Snoopy barked and he howled. Snoopy barked and he howled. So, what is the structure of this sentence? We have an independent clause here, Snoopy barked. We have an independent clause here, he howled. We have a coordinating conjunction, and. So this is a compound. Okay? And now, what about this one? Snoopy, who jumped, barked. What's the structure of this sentence? Well, we have a relative pronoun, who, so this is a complex. So now we want to make a compound complex sentence. So we're going to use both of these sentences, mash them together, and create a compound complex structure. So it would look like this. Snoopy, who jumped. So here we have our relative pronoun, so our subordinate clause. Barked, and he howled. Okay, so what is our independent clause? We have Snoopy barked, that's one independent clause. And then we have he howled, that's another independent clause. Remember, an independent clause consists of a subject and a verb, and it makes complete sense. Now, where is our subordinating clause? Who jumped? So we have one subordinating clause right there. So this is a compound complex. Okay, very good. how to diagram this. Okay, so we have, let me erase this real quick. Okay, so actually, let's go ahead and, for the sake of time, let's not diagram that, and we'll diagram one at the end of our day. Okay, so scratch that. Let's try another one. If I give you the compound sentence that says, Mom loves me and she loves my brother. Okay, that's a compound sentence. It's two independent clauses joined together by a conjunction. Okay, and then if I give you the sentence that says, Mom, who hugged me, loves me. Now this is a complex sentence because we have our relative pronoun here, and we have who hugged me as our subordinating conjunction or subordinating clause, and then we have Mom loves me as our independent clause. Okay, so this is a complex. Now what if we want to make this a compound complex sentence, and we're going to mash both of them together, and this is what it would look like. Mom who hugged me loves me and she loves. Okay, so we want to mash this compound and complex together, and so we would say Mom who hugged me loves me and she loves my brother. Okay, so we have our subordinating clause and we have our two independent clauses. Mom loves me and she loves my brother. So here we have a compound complex sentence. Okay, moving along. The next thing we are learning this week is conjunctions. We actually already know conjunctions. It's just a review. So if you could get your conjunction chart out real quick, we'll go over a couple things about conjunctions. So first of all, we know what a conjunction is. What is the definition of a conjunction? A conjunction is a word used to connect words, phrases, or clauses together. We know about coordinating conjunctions, they're fanboys. We know about subordinating conjunctions, www.asia.web. We know about correlative conjunctions, either or, neither nor, both and, whether or, not only, but also, and not but. We also talked about relative pronouns, that, who, whose, whom, which, and we've talked a little bit about conjunctive adverbs. But one thing I wanted to talk about this week is that conjunctions can also be used to make a compound subject or a compound verb or a compound direct object. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. For instance, if I give you the sentence, Charlie, Linus, and Sally sang a song, this is an example of an SVTDO. Charlie sang what? A song. SVTDO. But I have Charlie, Linus, and Sally. Notice the notice the conjunction and. Here, and is being used to give you a compound subject. Three subjects. What are they? Charlie, Linus, and Sally. Okay, look at this one. Lucy swings the bat and throws the ball. Okay, Lucy swings the bat and throws the ball. Here we have two verbs. Okay, Lucy swings and Lucy throws. So the and is making a compound verb. Now what about this one? I like milk and cookies. Well, we notice that I like milk is a subject, verb, transitive, direct object, right? I like what? I like milk. I like milk and cookies. Here we're using a conjunction and, but it's creating a compound direct object. Okay, how about he brushed his teeth after breakfast and before bedtime? This is a compound prepositional phrase. Notice, he brushed his teeth after breakfast. Notice after is a preposition. And before bedtime. Before is a preposition. So here we have two prepositional phrases. So that's a compound prepositional phrase. Okay, another new thing that we're going to learn this week is called verbals. Okay, so verbals, if you could please get out chart Q. It looks like this. And I think this is the very last chart that we're going to learn this year, if I'm not wrong. So it's chart Q, it says verbals at the top. Now notice there's three different types of verbals. We have infinitives, gerunds, and participles. This week we're only going to cover infinitives. We'll cover gerunds next week, and we will cover participles the following week. So first off, what is the definition of a verbal? Okay, right here is the definition of a verbal. A verbal is a verb that is used as another part of speech. What other part of speeches can they be used as? They can be used as an adjective, a noun, or an adverb. I created this Venn diagram that we'll be using over the next few weeks to discuss the three different types of verbals. So let's go ahead and put this up here. There we go. Okay, so here if you notice we have three different circles. This is known as a Venn diagram. So these are all verbals. This week we're going to cover infinitives. So that's what's inside of this circle. Okay, next week I'll add in our gerunds, and the week after that we'll add in our participles. Okay, so starting with an infinitive, let's talk about the definition of an infinitive. We already know an infinitive is to plus a verb used as a noun, adjective, or adverb. You probably remember that from your foundations memory work. Okay, so here we have the definition. So infinitive is to plus a verb. It's used as a noun, it's used as an adverb, and it's used as an adjective. Okay, so let's talk about some examples of what that would actually look like. So an infinitive acting as a noun. I don't know if you can see this, David, you might have to zoom in. Here, an infinitive acting as a noun. Look at this example sentence. We have Abigail loves to dance. Notice to dance, it's to plus a verb. And in this sentence, to dance is acting as the direct object, right? Abigail is a noun. What is being said about Abigail? Abigail loves, label verb. Abigail loves what? Abigail loves to dance, label direct object, okay? So this is an infinitive direct object. And we remember that direct objects are either nouns or pronouns. In this case, it's a noun. Okay, so how would we diagram that? Abigail loves, just like we do with our subject and our verb. When you do an infinitive, it's going to go up on these little stilts, okay? And then you'll write dance on this bottom line and to on this line, okay? I hope you can see that well. So this is an infinitive acting as a noun. Now what does it look like for an infinitive to act as an adjective? Well, let's look at this example sentence. This is the video to watch. Okay, subject this, what is being said about this? This is, label verb. This is what? This is video. Video is a predicate nominative, so this is a verb linking. This is the video to watch. What kind, or which video, or what kind of video? The one to watch. So that's an adjective, okay? Same thing, when we diagram this, since it's an adjective describing the video, it's going to go below the video line, and then it's going to be up on stilts, to watch. Okay? So that's an infinitive acting as an adjective. Now let's talk about an infinitive acting as an adverb. An infinitive adverb obviously would be modifying the verb, right? Jesus used parables to teach. Okay, he used why. Okay, that's one of our adverb questions, right? How, when, where, why. Okay, he used them. Why? To teach. So it's an adverb infinitive. So the same thing, since it's an adverb and it's going to go under our verb, just like that, on stilts. Okay? So that's everything about infinitives today. Let me make sure that I covered everything that I wanted to cover. You will be diagramming and labeling infinitives, I think, this week in some of your task sheets. So if you need if you need to go back and have your parent look at the parent guide and explain that some more, you can. Okay, now let's go over one task sheet. See, we're doing everything a little bit faster since it's a recording. I don't want you to be watching a 2-hour recording. So let's go over a sentence that we can diagram. I'm actually just going to diagram the first sentence that's in your task sheets this week. So if you want to go ahead and get out a task sheet, do this along with me. It can count as one of your task sheets this week. Okay? Let's remove this. Grab a quick drink. Okay. Our sentence is, Jesus who watches him wept, for he loves to find lost sheep. Did you hear that verbal? Did you hear that infinitive? To find lost sheep. Okay, so Jesus who watches him. So what does that tell you? It has a who. That's a relative pronoun that tells you this is a complex, right? Who watches him. Oops, I jumped way down. Oh well. Who watches him wept. Okay, so Jesus wept. There's an independent clause, so that tells you there's a compound sentence in here. For he loves to find lost sheep. Okay, well, let's go ahead and ask some of our mechanic questions. Is there a subject in this sentence? Yes. Is there a verb? Yes. Does it begin with a capital letter? Yes. Does it have an end mark? Yes. Does it make complete sense? Yes. Is other punctuation and capitalization correct? Actually, no, because he is referring to Jesus, so we should have a capital H. Okay, so let's fix that. And are the words spelled correctly? Yes. Okay, moving along. Let's ask our questions. What's our first independent clause? We identified Jesus wept. So let's start there. Jesus wept. First question, who wept? Answer, Jesus. Label, subject, noun. What is being said about Jesus? Jesus wept. Label, verb. There's nothing after wept, so it has to be intransitive, right? Okay, now what's our next independent clause? We have, let's see, how about who watches him? Well, let's just do that one next. Who watches him? Who watches? Answer, who. Label, subject, pronoun. What is being said about who? Who watches? Label, verb. Who watches who or what? Who watches him? Can him replace or describe who? No. So the answer is him is a direct object and watches is a verb transitive. Okay, now we have for. What is for? It's a conjunction. It's a coordinating conjunction, right? A fanboy. For, he loves to find lost sheep. Who loves? Answer, he. Label, subject, pronoun. What is being said about he? He loves. Label, verb. He loves who or what? This is where it's going to be a little different. He loves to find lost sheep. Now that entire phrase is a direct object phrase. Something we haven't really done yet, I don't think. Okay, so that entire thing is a direct object phrase. So that's all you would label it as. You wouldn't go into into breaking it down. It's an infinitive. It starts with to, right? To find. It's an infinitive direct object phrase. Okay? Now let's go ahead and try to diagram that together real quick, or let's classify it. So what do we have? What is our sentence structures or patterns? We have Jesus wept, so that's an SVI. We have who watches him, that's an SVTDO. SVTDO. And we have he loves to find lost sheep. Subject, verb, transitive, direct object again. Okay? Let's diagram that. First, we have our first independent clause, which is Jesus wept. So we'll have Jesus on the subject line, wept on the verb line. Okay? And then we have for, or we could start with who watches him, since that's going to go over here under Jesus. Who watches him is modifying Jesus. Which Jesus? The one who watches him. So this is going to go underneath the Jesus, the subject, okay? So who watches him? Who is the subject? Oops, that's going to connect to the subject. Who watches? And then our direct object, him. Okay? Now, for he loves to find lost sheep. For is going to go underneath wept. For he loves to find lost sheep. He loves. Now remember, to find lost sheep is an infinitive. It's a verbal, so it's going to go up on stilts. And since it's an entire phrase, the entire phrase is going to go up on stilts like so. I'll show you. Okay, up. So our to is going to go on this line. Okay, now actually in the teacher guide, it does break it down by verb and direct object. Okay, so if we were going to actually break this down, we would say find is a verb, find what, lost sheep, direct object. So that's how they're doing this. There's no subject, but we have find, and then just like we would diagram a direct object, we would put sheep. And then we would say what kind of sheep? Lost sheep. So that would go underneath this. Now these are getting to be more advanced sentences. Remember, all the answers are inside the parent's guide, okay? So you can find all the answers if something stumps. Okay, well there we have it. The only last thing that I wanted to introduce to you today was that we are actually going to get a new end of the year ceremony sentence for our class to parse up on stage. The other one was just kind of boring because it was all the same patterns throughout. So I'm going to introduce you guys to this. We'll talk about it more when we meet virtually tomorrow through Google Hangouts. But just so you can know in advance, our sentence is going to be Essentials is a wonderful class because we learn English grammar and writing, and our tutor gives us delicious candy. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write that on the board, and then I'm going to challenge you guys, okay? I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to see if anybody watches this video before we meet at 2 o'clock tomorrow and is able to label the whole sentence, and you can get help from your parents, then I will call you out and give you a virtual high five, okay? And you can share it with the class. Essentials is a wonderful class because we learn English grammar and writing and our tutor. Gives us delicious candy. Okay, that's it. If somebody can parse that and label it and have it ready for us tomorrow, you can share it with the class virtually. I'll give you a hint. There's 3 different patterns in this sentence. So good luck, and I think that is it. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great week 21. Bye.